For those of you who don't know, we are the three women who run the co-working as part of CWIB when you're a member. So I'm Kelly and I own One Awesome Woman, and I help mentor and coach women who have complex needs families and basically their big warm hug from God, and help them navigate their life and business. Mari, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Sure. Hi, I'm Mari. I'm a virtual assistant and I help businesses behind the scenes with their administration. So that could be anything from website edits, data entry, and anything to do with Canva.
And Deb, tell us about you.
Hi everyone, I'm Deb. I am a bookkeeper and BAS agent, and I'm actually the owner-director of Aussie Bookkeeping Basics, which is a financial literacy course for business owners, to help business owners be able to know their own numbers and make financially informed decisions for themselves and their businesses. So that's launching this year.
Awesome. So I'm usually the one who takes over things even when it's not my job to do it. So I'm going to take charge a little bit. Tell us about how you came to decide CWIB was like the membership for you.
Mine is basically that I was just looking for a bunch of like-minded women who have faith in God, who also understand the complexities of owning and running your own small business, basically. And that's where I found Christian Women in Business. I'm sure I Googled the exact phrase Christian Women in Business.
That's good SEO information.
Yes.
What about you, Mari?
Yeah, I came across Christian Women in Business on social media, and this was before I was really even thinking about being in business. So I started following them on social media, and then when I got a bit closer to the thinking I might start a business, I decided to become a member, because I thought, well, it'd be a good idea to be around other like-minded people. And because I live in a regional or even rural area, there's not many, I don't have a lot of choices for business groups, and particularly specific ones like this. And as Deb mentioned before, it's just so nice to find a group of people who have the same thoughts and values, and they understand, what it is to run a business, what it is to have a household and family, and how it all works. And it's also lovely to be able to have a conversation about all of that, all in one sentence, and no one bats an eyelid.
So much. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I met SJ at a conference just as they were launching, and at that stage, my business wasn't even on the cards. Like, I was supporting other women in business as, in their admin section, but actually doing it as a separate business was not on the cards at that time. I remember walking out of that conference and going, I need to set this up as my own business. And kind of missed the founding member round and joined after that. And I don't know about you women, but I have made some amazing, you guys included, have made some amazing friends, just people that I would never have ever had the opportunity to cross paths with than without CWIB.
Absolutely agree. And likewise.
Yeah. And for me, a lot of it is location. Like, there's no way I would have met other people in different states that are running their business in a similar fashion to me. Yeah. That just wouldn't have happened without CWIB.
That's so true.
Yeah. So what are some things that God has been kind of talking to you guys about with your business at the moment? Like, how does God factor in to your business to begin with, I guess, is the first question. And then where's God leading you in your business?
So as I mentioned, I'm a bookkeeper and BAS agent. So for the last however many years, I've been a self-employed bookkeeper, working from home. I have a 7-year-old with complex needs and a 5-month-old. Where did that time go? In any case, I guess God and business, it's like I always wanted, like, my faith and my relationship with God is like, this is the center of my life, right? And my family. And so it's like, well, how do I then, I guess, apply those same like priorities and principles into then how I run my business? So it's like, how does that core stuff, like, how does that look? How does that feel? And how does that impact even just policies and procedures and that kind of stuff? So that's how, yeah. So it's for me, like, having a bunch of women who also run businesses who are also Christians was just a no-brainer, because there's so many decisions even in the day-to-day of, like, you know, how you do your invoicing, how you promote on like social media, website, like all of that kind of stuff. Like, my faith is integral and central to even those practical kinds of decisions. And for me this year, that has meant scaling back on my client work. So actually, I want to say palmed off, but that doesn't sound great. I handed on several clients to other bookkeepers who had capacity. Again, bookkeepers that I was working with or alongside, so that I could actually focus on getting this course out into the world. It's been on my heart and soul and brain for a couple of years now, but then falling pregnant last year, unexpectedly but delightedly, and then being sick for the whole pregnancy, kind of put a bit of a speed bump in that whole my timeline. So that's me pivoting my business from a focus on client services to a focus on getting this course out into the world, is basically where I'm going with business at the moment.
Nice. And what about you, Murray? Like, where does God fit in your business, and where do you feel him leading you this year?
I feel like God has called me into business, and there's a few reasons for that. I do have complexities at home, and by running my own business and being able to work from home, that has allowed me to manage those complexities a lot more than if I had still been in a typical employee type of role. So that's certainly, one element of it. And also, as I'm still feel like I'm in the building up stage and startup stage of my business, God is still providing for me. So he recognizes where I'm at, and he still, provides for me. And that could be in the sense of clients coming in, or maybe even clients taking a break for a month so that, other things can happen. And I'm hoping this year, where I'm going with my business, is I might be stepping out a little bit more. So you might be seeing a little bit more of me, or hearing more of me. And also, I guess, just bringing that confidence that I feel has been hiding away.
Yeah, so I know you've got a really big opportunity later on this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to totally throw you in it. And can you tell us a bit about what you're doing? Because we're really excited. I think you're a little bit petrified, but we're really excited about it.
Yeah. So later on this year, I am going to be speaking at the CWIB conference in September. So and I'm really excited on many levels, because I actually get to meet some people in person that I have only been speaking to over Zoom or on the phone, or those sorts of things. And yeah, the topic I'm going to talk about is Canva. So if you're interested in business and God or Canva, then certainly come along. Be great to meet you all.
Yay. Oh, I'm so excited. And so, Deb, you've been a speaker before.
Mm-hmm.
Have you got any tips for Murray?
So I was a speaker last year, and then I found out I was pregnant shortly after that. So yeah, that's I guess my tips are just keep it real. Like that's the number one, right? Like you just are speaking from the heart, but also like realizing that you're in that environment where if you make a mistake, like I did many times in my session, you're in a supportive place where people aren't going to be like cut you down or whatever. Like you just take a deep breath, smile, and keep going. Like it's just so supportive. And I was like, I found that really empowering as well. It helped me to not feel so embarrassed that I felt like I needed to leave the room kind of thing. And I'm even an ex-teacher, right? So I should really have that whole public speaking thing down pat. But no, apparently not. Yeah, so, and having a plan. But knowing you, Mari, I know that you would have like a solid, yeah.
Yeah, I think I might actually have trouble condensing it down as well, because that's one subject that I can speak on at a moment's notice with very little preparation. So
yes.
It could be an interesting session between, what extra features are put in or taken out between now and then.
Yeah.
And I think it was one of the ladies probably even last year in the lead up to me speaking was like pitching it at like, don't assume any knowledge of your audience. And I think that for me was a really helpful place to start, because I was speaking to, people who haven't got my level of experience and stuff like that. And that's the whole point, really, isn't it? Yes, assume no knowledge. Yeah.
So this will be your first in-person one too, Murray, won't it?
I've done one small in-person Canva presentation / workshop locally. That was, a half a dozen lovely ladies, local ladies. But this will be my first, I guess, major presentation with more than just a handful of people in the room.
And it'll also be your first in-person conference, won't it?
Yes, it will be.
Oh, yay.
Which is exciting. So you've done 2 online ones? Is that right?
2 virtual ones.
Yep. And Deb, what have you done?
So I did the virtual one last year and the year before that, I think, that I did put in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But it was so good in person. Yeah. Last year, myself and my friend, who's also part of CWIB, we actually decided to just book accommodation down to the coast anyway, because we're in Queensland. And just, regardless of the fact that it went online because of stuff, we really enjoyed having that dedicated time out and time away from our families, even though it was like online,
I have been to every single conference that we have had.
So how many is that then?
Wow. I think this will be the 7th one. Okay. And I love it. Like, because I'm known as CWIB's resident extrovert, and I think there will be a lot of hugging going on this year, because our last in-person one, we weren't supposed to be hugging, and we did anyway. But because we were still supposed to be like one person per 4 square meters and stuff. Anyway, we won't go into that. That will totally tank us. It's amazing. It's amazing to build relationship with people who none of us 3 are in the same state. I have met Deb in person once, and I haven't actually met Murray in person yet. So I can't wait. Like, I used to not be a hugger, and now I'm like, bring it on, baby. Like, these people are my people, and I know how so much God has changed that in my heart through CWOB and through meeting people and having a real relationship with them and being able to have that centered in Christ and in the faith that we share. It allows us to have a really different sort of relationship to what we do with other people that we network with. Like, there's just this underlying stuff, and that if you say, you know, this isn't sitting right in my spirit, nobody kind of looks at you weird, or you're not caught up into stuff that is not what you want to do. Like, it doesn't sit right with you. So, I don't know. I know I've been really grateful for what CWIB has brought for me, and just so many people that I would not have met without it. And, you know, totally God, and things that this community has held me through happening in my personal life, like really massive stuff, massive stuff. I don't think that's by accident. Like, I really feel that God gave me this community because he knew that I needed it. He knew I needed this space to explore business safely, to try things out and maybe get some things wrong in that process. And as I kind of warmed up to what he had planned for me in my business, which is completely different to what it was when I started. Like, let's be real.
God does that.
But yeah,
like
that's been my journey. So
I was going to say, like, yeah, us being the 3 co-working like people, it's like co-working is one of the things that I've found has been really essential to relationship building too. Like, as in, I feel like I sit down and have a coffee with you guys. Well, I do. Do you know what I mean? Like, but we're in 3 different locations and 3 different states, as you pointed out, Kelly. Like, I feel like not only is it like a chance to get some work done, like some targeted, focused kind of stuff, but also, again, to like run stuff by people. Like, as you're saying, Kelly, like not getting stuck into stuff that like doesn't sit well, doesn't feel like it's right in our spirits, you know, in us, and going, hey, like, this is where I'm at, you know, having people pray for me and what's going on in my life, and, you know, and being able to reciprocate that too. It's just, I could not imagine doing life, let alone business life, without you guys. And the fact that, like, even my husband is now, oh, is that the CWIB ladies? Like, you know, is that your online ladies or whatever? You know, my husband is now like aware of it. Like, yeah, he doesn't own, he's an employee, he's a teacher, but he can see how much value that it brings to me as a person, to my business, but also like how that, sorry about that ding. That was my computer, I think. Just even the value that it brings to our family in terms of like, helping with decision making too, like that. Yeah. So thank you.
I think it's lovely to have a group of women that you can run things past. Like, I know that, like, particularly Murray has helped me at times where I'm just like, my brain is so full and I do it for other people, but I need somebody else who will do it for me, to be able to go, help me unpack this. And just the generosity of this community is amazing.
Yeah.
There's a generosity not just of time but knowledge as well. Like it's not competition. You know, there's some of us that do similar things, but there's not the competition. There's the collaboration. There's the you've got a presentation coming up. You know, if you need to flick it through and you need a second set of eyes, you know, there's usually someone that can help with those sorts of things, like that's on a practical level. But then, you know, as you two have mentioned, the support that you can get, whether it's through prayer request or, you know, the emotional support that you may not be able to get, or lean on other friends, you know, particularly if they're not Christians as well. So yeah, it's just, yeah, it's a really, really good community to be a part of.
And I think it's also about having the same calling on your life that you're called into the marketplace. Like, it's something that I find within like church life, unless you can find the other business owners in your congregation, which can be tricky.
How do you,
then
I was just imagining conversation about that. Like, hi, I'm Deb, I run a business. Who are you?
Yeah, do you run a business? How much effort am I going to put into this conversation? Because if you don't run a business, you don't know what my life is like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sorry to interrupt, Kelly. Yeah. Like, yeah, how do you find that?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the other side of this, that it is Christian women, but they are Christian women who also have a business, that have a business mindset. I know that was one of my biggest first journeys, was like, okay, how do I actually feel about earning money? How do I actually feel about being a Christian and earning money? Like, how does that all work? And that was something CWIB took me through.
Yeah, and reconciling, like, even those practical decisions in business, as you say, like, you know, yeah, and tricky situations like you come up against or into or something. Insert appropriate word here. Yeah, so it's just so nice to have a bunch of women that I can go, hey, there's the situation. I don't know how I feel about it. Like, what do you guys reckon? You know, like, and knowing we come from a similar perspective, and also that, you know, the ethics and the moral kind of stuff, it sits behind what comes out of their mouth. Like, yeah, because sometimes, yeah, in business networking stuff, sometimes you get advice and it's just like, that doesn't really work for me. And how do you politely decline that without saying, actually, I don't like that. I don't think that that's ethical or moral, or, you know, that doesn't fit with my God. Like, people sometimes just say those kinds of things in a just a networking group without the faith side of things, and people look at you funny. Well, maybe they're just looking at me funny, but yes.
I'm feeling like you can trust the other people.
Yeah.
That there's not the same kind of gossip, potentially backstabbing. Like, I don't want to speak ill of other networking groups I've been in, but there have been groups where the ethos and the overall feel of the group has not been okay, and everybody's in it for themselves, and everybody's just there to find their next client, and there's no giving, there's none of that.
Agreed. Yeah, totally.
And yeah, that doesn't sit right with me as a human, and it doesn't sit right with me as a Christian. And again, like, not seeing everybody as competition is really important.
And the ability that others have to meet you where you are at, and that is totally okay if you're at a different space to where they are at, and that could be in their family life, it could be in their business journey, it doesn't really matter, but it's, you know, and that ability to not only, you know, give a helping hand to bring people up if that's where they need to be, but also to receive that as well. That's a really special thing that doesn't always happen in other communities.
So true.
Well, I am very much looking forward to seeing both of you at conference, particularly as it's I am, to give each other a hug. And it at the beautiful Markula as well. Like, it's just so pretty where we're going. Like, yeah, as I said on co-working today, like the fact that I can face the beach and my non-actual walk on sand beach friends can be happy because they can see the beach, but they don't actually have to walk on the sand. That's really lovely. And I just, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's such a beautiful venue that we're going to.
Yeah.
So.
And golly, just the opportunity, as you say, to be in person is, you can't put a.
Yeah. And the stuff God does. And the stuff that God does, not always about business.
That's right.
There's things that God has talked to me about at conference in ways that I had not experienced before I joined CWOB, let me just say, and has started those steps in my life about things that needed to change that were not, that I guess probably allowed me more time and functionality to be able to focus on my business, but they were not about making changes to my actual business, like are just phenomenal. And the different level of education, like yours last year, was amazing, just learning about the actual bookkeeping side of things, which, even 10 years as a bankie, I learned so much from that because it's so different when you run it from your own business. And so many of us are creatives that numbers are like,
and unnecessary, but what?
Like, how does this actually work? What's been your experience of conference from that perspective?
Well, I've only attended virtually, but the power of God and the Holy Spirit has meant that I have still felt the presence, even though I wasn't in the room with everybody else. The way that the retreat sessions are run and some of the other sessions as well, having that time to really just be still and be with him, I could still feel and feel like, he was speaking to me as well as everybody else in the room as well. So it was just such a special connection time. So I'm really looking forward to experiencing that in person this year as well.
And
there's lots of hugs to be had. I keep coming back to the hugs.
Exactly, that's right. And I can actually,
all right, ladies,
physically and have a coffee like me on this side of the table, someone else on the other side of the table.
I know. How good's that going to be?
So
can't wait.
Yeah,
we're excited. Is it September?
Yeah, that's right. I was going to say it should be like in 3 weeks. Not 2 days, but that's right.
Yeah, that's all right. We've got plenty of time to be excited.
Yes, that's right.
And Mari probably doesn't want it to be tomorrow because she wants to make sure she's got her presentation sorted. That might freak her out.
Yeah, it might a little bit.
Thank you so much for chatting.
You're welcome.
It's been really nice. Even when we get to talk most weeks. It's been nice to chat here, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I just had a little face appear at the door, which is what that whole thing was about. Working from home challenges, right?
Yeah, it is. It's so challenging, isn't it? Like that whole trying to be multiple people at once is tricky.
Indeed. So
maybe we'll have to do another one of these and talk about that.
Yeah, probably a good plan.
All right.
Next time I'll lock the door. Joking. Sorry. Anyway, I should probably stop there and get another coffee.
Yep, I think it's coffee time.
Nah.
Bye.
Bye.